Big 12 schools are now being asked to pay $22 million a year directly to their athletes, and some schools just can't afford it. This is Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Locked On Big 12. I am less sunburned than I was yesterday. That is Robbie Triano from Sirius XM Big 12 Radio, except for not anymore. Now he works for a new show in Chicago. Thanks for making this show your first listen every single day. Dapperly clad, my friend Robbie. Look, the college landscape in the whole game of football thing is in, how you say, Spain without the S, based on this new revenue sharing jazz, where they're going to pay players. Every school that wants to stay relevant is going to pay players like $20 to $22 million a year. And thus Cincinnati raises its hands and goes, hey, we don't have to do that, right? And the answer is, sorry, Cincinnati, you do. What this is going to do is kill off the back half of the Big 12. Schools that can't do this, you just like, how do you remain in a conference? It's going to kill off maybe even an Illinois or a Purdue, right? Again, this is how you say not good.
Yeah, no, and I have genuine concerns about even is this good for college sports? Like when the players got NIL, we were all like, good, it's about time. We've had debates for decades of like, should players get paid because of the amount of profit they made? That's awesome. But now we're getting to this level, and I don't think a lot of schools want to hang and do this and pay that much money because, like, yes, sports are really an amazing advertisement tool for all of these schools. But at what cost is that not? It doesn't make sense anymore. And for schools to not do that, and you look at the Big 12, like they're not making the TV revenue that like other schools can use that money to help pay for this type of aspect. So like, it does feel like super weird and super bad for the Big 12 schools. And that's where I have a genuine concern if it's going to happen. And also if this does happen, what are the logistics of any of this? Like what are the contracts that players have to sign or like student athlete? I said player first before student athlete. Right. It's like, what are the logistics of this looking like? And like, that's where I do fear where the league will just split off from the rest of the Big Ten, the SEC, and everybody else. Like, let's just do our own party. Let's do our own thing. And let's be the most pure version of college football, college sports. And that's going to be NFL Junior.
Yeah, per Yahoo Sports, the figure assumes the school meets and it's believed to be 17 to 22 million in revenue distribution cap for athletes, at least 2 million withheld for NCAA distribution for back damages, and as much as 10 million in additional scholarship costs related to an expansion of sport-specific roster sizes, a concept previously unpublicized. That's like a 30 million-ish price tag at minimum. And again, there are schools in the country, Iowa State, one of them, who looks at that and goes, I don't think we can afford that right now. And if you can't, you just get left behind. Now you say, here's what I can't afford. And what it creates to me is division amongst maybe America's most bonded conference, the Big 12 being almost the last best league. Money hasn't ruined the league yet. Any move they've made has been a move of survival to this point. Any move they will make will likely be of survival. They're not the big dog. They're not the driver's seat. This creates the infighting of, Kansas State can afford that, but wait a second, I can't.
Yeah, and it's interesting, but also the Big 12 is also the conference where I believe the schools and the teams in there have done the most with the least amount of resources. You look at a school like TCU, yes, they have the resources, but they're not getting 5-star talent. Yeah. They had a bunch of 4-stars and they made it to the college football playoff, made it to the national championship game. You look at a school like Kansas State. That's a school that gets 3 stars all the time. That's not a school that's recruiting major talent. That's not a very rich school. But they have shown that with good culture, with all of these things, they can go to the highest level and be really successful every single year. So I give a lot of credit to the schools in the Big 12 for like doing the most with the least and making lemonade all the time. But if this is across the board, everybody needs to meet the salary cap. Everybody needs to have this amount of money. I don't think schools are going to want to sign up for that or do that or even think it's worth their time and money to do that. And like, obviously fans will be upset and maybe that'll be the pressure. But also you think about this. will schools now raise tuition for that? Does anybody want to like pay more money for if this means that students now have to pay more money to go to school so the football players can stay there instead of like keep it like locking them in instead of transferring to another school because of that fear? Like, is that like what is everything else besides that? Because on paper, it seems like a lot, and like all the logistics, it seems detrimental to these schools that aren't making Big Ten SEC money. So I do fear that a lot of schools may check out of that.
I don't mean to get emotional here. Where what's the Katy Perry where she goes, "Our country has failed us," and the kid goes, "Preach or retweet."
Oh, yeah, that one.
South Skits and American Idol. Don't mean to get emotional. I like what the Big 12 is. I like the way the conference has shaken out here. Now it feels like what's out of Brett Yormark's control. This is legislative stuff that he's kind of stuck with. We're going to lose the back half of our conference. We're not going to be able to facilitate the way that we're going. It sucks. Like the idea that this would truly kill off the Big 12 as we know it, and other conferences too, but this is Locked On Big 12. That sucks.
Yeah, and that's where I hope and I don't hope that the Big 12 doesn't sign up for this type of thing where they're just like the most pure version of college football. Because I do believe the Big 10 and the SEC are like this. There's Lord now. They have all this money. They have all the resources. They have the NIL donors. They have everything that makes the gap massive. And it sucks because I don't think a lot of people are going to be in the party, even though the college football playoff expanded. Like, are we really going to trust that the Big 12 teams are now going to compete with them at this level with the resources they have? I love the Big 12 schools. That's not going to happen. So what I hope happens is the Big 12 just becomes the last pure thing that we know of college football. Not like pure amateurism, but just like pure love of the game. It's not like watered down or not completely consumed by capitalism and everything like that. It's just football, and not these blue bloods, but just like good teams you want to root for. And there's good competition, and there's a lot of great fan bases in the middle of the country and now kind of everywhere, but just some amazing fan bases squaring off in Big 12 football. And I do believe that is so pure. Like, that's what we all love. You get the recruit, and maybe it's a 3-star, 4-star, and they develop into this amazing player. And that's exactly what we love, to get attachment to these players as fans in college football. So for me, I hope the Big 12 kind of doesn't get along with that. I hope that they kind of do their own thing. What is terrible, though, is that completely waters down what the public sees about the Big 12. Like, let's say the winner of the Big 12 league wins their national championship. Well, that's not the national championship, because that would go to the Big 10 or SEC schools who have won that. So that's where I am worried that, like, if the Big 12 doesn't sign up and do this, and they just like, we're just going to do our own thing, which I don't even think is going to happen. But if they did, like, that's where I feel like it's the last pure thing. But I don't know if people would sign up for that, because people would just view the Big 12 as like another group of 5 division or conference or whatever like that. So a lot of words there to just say, I think the Big 12 is awesome.
I want the Big 12 to stay alive. That's just wanted to put that.
Yeah, I do as well. Me as well.
Coming up, Big 12 expansion wish list. Let's make it fun, interactive, if you will, on Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's show, this show, right here on Locked On Big 12, is brought to you by eBay Motors. Brrr, that's the sound of your car driving out of the driveway, and then brrr, it stops because you're me and you had a plastic piece fall off the bottom of your Nissan Maxima. Luckily, eBay Motors can fix that. It did for me. They have superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and that weird plastic part that fell off your car earlier this week. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. With eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP. Even if that plastic piece is no longer on there, that's where you go to eBay Motors and you find, and they have this little guarantee where the part is going to fit every time. So like, hey, eBay Motors, I just like search in plastic part for bottom of car, and then they send you the eBay Motors plastic piece that fits your car. Guarantee fit only available to U.S. customers. It's the prices you want, and it's easy to make again your car the MVP. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Again, guaranteed fit only available to U.S. customers at ebaymotors.com. Robbie Triano, the Triano Kid.
Okay.
The Big 12 expansion wish list has expanded to meet to 16 teams. And there it is, Locked On Big 12's mega expansion, mega wish list. It features schools like North Carolina, Louisville, Pittsburgh, Miami, even Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Washington State. Robbie, let's go through this, cat. You ready?
I am.
Now, am I happy the ACC is dying for the ACC's sake? Absolutely not.
Yes.
Am I happy
No.
the Big 12 can stay alive? Absolutely yes. Absolutamente sí. Robbie, North Carolina and UCF, who would you rather have in the Big 12?
I think that's a layup, even though I think UCF brings another element.
Sorry, USF.
USF.
My bad.
Sorry about that. USF. No, even though I do love that they would bring another Florida school into the Big 12. I like going to Florida. I love Bradenton, Florida. That's where my dad has a condo. Great place. But no, UNC is the clear favorite here, not only for what they do on the basketball side of things, adding to an amazing conference, but football-wise, hey, Mac Brown's their head coach. Kind of cool. Will he be there forever? No, but I trust UNC in that name brand. UNC is probably the one here that's the most unattainable. Maybe Miami, but UNC is pretty unattainable here. So because of that, I want UNC.
Gonzaga, Virginia Tech.
Ooh. I think the easy answer here is Virginia Tech. Obviously, Gonzaga brings the basketball side of things, which is awesome, to a league that is great. I really don't like either of these as additions to the Big 12, to be quite honest. Like Virginia Tech, that's just like a school that, passionate. State of Virginia, big state. Like they add that, but like what do they bring football wise? I think I immediately see them middle of the pack, below pack. And then basketball, what are they bringing? So
Buzz
honestly,
Fuente? Is Fuente still the football coach?
I don't know. I don't know. Like that's how little I know about Virginia Tech, and that's also how little the public, I think, knows about Virginia Tech. Like I do believe ACC school, great, good to add, but like what is the value that they are bringing? If you can get Gonzaga basketball only, awesome. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know the logistics of that. If it was basketball only, Gonzaga, but Virginia Tech not really moving the needle for me.
So which one?
I'll go with Gonzaga. I'll just go with Gonzaga.
Wow,
Even though I immediately said no Gonzaga, I thought through it. Virginia Tech, I don't know what they are bringing to the conference. I know the eyeballs that they bring. I don't know the culture football-wise. What are they? What is their ceiling? I just think they're the definition of average.
How about Oregon State and Louisville? This one should be simple.
I think it's easy. It's Louisville. Not only for the basketball, you add a blue blood, another blue blood to the conference. I think football-wise, we've seen what they can do. They're in a nice area. I like Kentucky. I just like adding that part of the country. Oregon State, like they've had recent success, but their head coach just left. I don't know what. No, Oregon State does not move the needle for me. Give me Louisville.
Pittsburgh or Tulane?
See, I want to have a conversation about Pitt because out of all of the schools here, Pitt is the one that intrigues me the most because I believe in adding rivalries. And I think Pitt, West Virginia immediately becomes maybe 1-2 in the entire league. And I think that's an incredible rivalry to have those things in a league that is completely lacking on that. You get a major city like Pittsburgh, like obviously like not one of the major cities, but if you can say we have that area where there is a good group of fans, I like Pitt a whole lot. Tulane is on the come up, but to me, Pitt is like one of the schools here that I truly love for them. And on the football field, like Pat Narduzzi has created a culture of toughness, and obviously they haven't had the highest level of success, but I love what they would bring to this conference. Pitt to me is like maybe 2 or 3 of the school I'm most excited about on this list.
Tulane nerds. UConn, Georgia Tech.
I think UConn should already be in the Big 12. Solely because what they do on the basketball court, because we just saw them back-to-back national champs. You add them to the Big 12. Obviously, we know about this. You and I know about this. Everybody knows about this. Football brings in the money. But for UConn, that is such an amazing value to know you can have a guaranteed team that can go at the end of the March Madness. Know that you're going to have a staple every single year, a school that everybody is talking about on the football field. Not good, not great, but they could be better. They have been better. In fact, they played back in the last decade. They played Oklahoma in a bowl game. Kind of cool. Give me UConn.
Washington State or Duke as we're getting close to rounding out this first round?
Give me Duke. I think just the name brand alone, everybody knows that. Washington State, I don't even think a lot of people would know where that school is located. And no offense to Washington State, but once again, like Duke is among the elite of basketball and football. They have shown they can do what they can do. It's an easy answer.
Washington State is one of the more valuable schools left off the table from a TV standpoint, though Duke basketball is one of the most profitable sports athletic programs in the country. Miami or SMU? 3, 2, 1.
Miami is the school I would want the most out of any of these schools here. You get a major brand, and obviously they haven't been that. You get the city of Miami, and you get a program that I think would love to be in the Big 12, to be a top dog again. And I know there is money at Miami. I know there is. And I know for a fact out of all the schools here that this is the school that Brett Yormark would be licking his chops over the most because he wants those eyeballs. He wants that area. Miami, to me, is the number one school out of all the schools here that I would want Brett Yormark in the Big 12 to get. Virginia and NC State, final matchup of round one. Oh, man. These are two schools that I'm like, if we get them, cool. If the Big 12 gets it, cool. Give me Virginia here, only because I've been there. Beautiful campus, good football, or not good football. Good football.
Fine
Mostly
football.
basketball. Mostly basketball here, but I love Virginia. Amazing town, amazing college town. Give me Virginia.
All right, rapid fire. We'll roll through the round 2 and 3. You have North Carolina or Gonzaga.
Give me North Carolina. That's pretty easy.
I could see that one. That's pretty. Louisville and Pitt. Tough one for you.
Oh, man. Louisville, I think, is the better brand. And obviously, basketball-wise, better. Football-wise, maybe better as well. But I want the rivalry. I want that rivalry really bad in this conference. And Louisville is just like, we added Louisville. But Pitt, it's like, we added someone that West Virginia hates. So give me Pitt.
You like rivalries. Louisville is a top 30 school EADA revenue numbers, though I do see why you put Pitt there. We're going to go Pitt, North Carolina on the left side of the bracket. Right side of the bracket, UConn and Duke. That's tough, man. That's tough.
That is really tough. And this is really, I think you have to add Duke here because they add value on the football field. Definitely.
Very good.
They're a bigger brand than UConn, even though UConn has had more success.
I like that pick. Miami and Virginia.
Miami. Let's move on. That's easy.
All right, we're down to our final 4. It's Duke versus Miami on the right side of the bracket. On the left side of the bracket is UNC and Pitt. North Carolina, Pittsburgh.
Oof. Well, Miami is moving to the championship round. I'm sorry,
Duke. So you're taking out Duke. Okay.
I think that Miami, just football matters. And even though they haven't had I want that brand. I want the Big 12 to be the place that restores Miami football. So I love that very much. And even though I love Pitt and I love what they would add, if the Big 12 could get UNC, that is an absolute home run because it's an amazing brand here and amazing how much capital they have and control they have on not only the state of North Carolina, but also just basketball as a whole. People will tune in for that. People will tune into their football games as well.
Jordan. All right. Finally, it's UNC. It's Miami. You'd rather have?
I'd rather have Miami. All right. I love the brand. I love the potential of what they could be. I love their history. Give me Miami.
See how much more fun expansion is when you make it a fun little game. When you get to play God. Fun. When you get to play God with brackets. I'm a simple man. Show me bracket. I get happy. Coming up, BYU loses out on the nation's number 1 recruit to another Big 12 school. This is Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Today's show is brought to you, yes, the fan of the Big 12, by Monopoly Go. Look, I play Monopoly Go. Why do I play Monopoly Go? Because I like traditional Monopoly, but I can't take it on the go. And I still play with traditional Monopoly when I'm at home. But Monopoly Go, I can beat my friends and show my competitive side, or I can play with my friends and give them stickers and Trade with them for albums of big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, or hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels like a new and exciting game every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like a robot pachinko machine. There's also new timed events to help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover at Monopoly Go. Go set off the bench and download it at Google Play or the App Store. Game on with Monopoly Go. Today's show is also brought to you by Yahoo Finance. Very recently, I had to realize that I am 23 years old, and that means I have to start doing my taxes. I've been doing my taxes, but I need to take a little bit more care with taxes. I didn't really know what that word meant. So I've used Yahoo Finance to actually put all of my finances in the same little pod together. I have an investment account with Schwab, a 401k with Fidelity. I've been using Yahoo Finance to consolidate them and see everything in one place. Let's get straight to the point. You want to grow your portfolio to deal with the rising cost of inflation, pay off your debt or your mortgage, pretty much anything standing in the way of you and financial freedom. With Yahoo Finance, you can get access to the news, data, and tools you need in order to help reach that financial freedom. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor, their number one finance destination, producing a holistic look at the financial news cycle. YahooFinance.com for comprehensive financial news and analysis, the number one financial destination, YahooFinance.com. That is YahooFinance.com. Recently, BYU lost the number one commit in the country, 6'2", 170 pounds, the best fan in America, in a battle with another Big 12 school. Robbie Triano, Robert James Triano, chooses the Kansas State Wildcats. While Robbie, I'm sure BYU Nation is crushed, Kansas State fans are overjoyed. Tim Fitzgerald has gone absolutely berserk. His crystal ball had you at Kansas State, and he was right. Why this pick, and why this pick now out of the transfer portal?
Yeah, and for everyone who has no idea what the hell is going on or what I'm even saying about this, so I entered the fan.
You think that once you commit to Kansas State, you can start to throw the hell word around now?
I'm free. No, I'm kidding. It's just like, so when I entered the fan transfer portal and I committed to BYU last year because it's like a school that, I really identify with, like an amazing fan base. They love their school. I want to be a part of that. And then Mark Pope left, and then I entered with them. And obviously BYU basketball is in a much better place right now. They got an amazing hire. They got a lot of their players back.
Stole a couple of Utah guys.
Things are looking good for BYU, but I was in the portal, and I really had some deep reflecting thoughts of myself. Just like, what do I identify with as a person? Like, what do I want from a school, from a fan? Because like I went to a D2 school called Grand Valley State. I really have no home, like no D1 home besides Michigan State, a school I grew up with loving, but like I kind of lost, the feeling for as I've grown up. So I really wanted a school to just root for the rest of my life. And Kansas State and we go back. I chose them. I predicted actually well before the Big 12 championship game in 2022 that they were going to win. And then they did. And I had a lot of people, Kansas State fans, flood me and kind of embrace me. And I kind of went with them as well. So when I chose BYU, I kind of left that. And like the BYU fans, I just want to make it very clear. Just like I think, honestly, the best fan base in this entire Big 12. I think they are the most loyal. I think they love their team the most. Even if they don't have success on the field, they are the loudest and the best. Like that fan base is incredible. And this is not any like shot to any of them. But I chose Kansas State because like that's like my culture. Like I love what they stand for in terms of like, what, we are a major family here. We love that aspect here. And they're the school that like has always like worked hard, even though they don't have the resources like everybody else. Like I think of like Bill Snyder and what he created, like that was nothing. And he created this amazing thing. And you look at Chris Kleiman, he takes the underdogs, he takes the Deuce Vaughns, he takes the Felix Anudike Uzamas, the players that were 3 stars and never really gotten a chance. And he helped grow and nurture them to be to the people that they are now. And that's kind of what I want to be a part of. And honestly, this year, when it comes to football, I want to root for Avery Johnson. Like that is such an amazing, fun player to be there. And with Jerome Tang on the basketball side, like I love that fan base. So I want to be a part of Kansas State. I believe in the new Big 12. They are going to be an absolute wagon. And I identify with the people and the culture there at Kansas State. So I'm sorry, BYU. I love you very, very much. But Kansas State, I'm home, baby. I'm home.
Question, front row.
Yes.
Drake Toll, Locked On Big 12. Robbie, your second consecutive year in the transfer portal. Many are saying that you just float around the college game. Who's to say that you'll stick in Manhattan, Kansas?
I'm going to be honest. When I was in the portal, I thought it would be fun. I thought it was like I would love the attention of being courted by all these other schools and fan bases. I absolutely hated it. I hated it a whole lot because I just wanted a home. I wanted a place. And BYU is an amazing place and home for this past year. I loved being there, seeing the basketball run that they had, seeing football. They played football. They played football. But I want a home for the rest of my life. I'm not here to float around anymore. Like I honestly, it made me realize how much it sucks for an actual player to go in the portal, because you go in the portal thinking I'm going to get all this love and attention, and then it's there, but also some of it seems like a little fake. And also you probably had a really good school that you were at beforehand, but you wanted money or something like that. And it's a terrible process. And I did it with no real consequence to my life, like picking up and moving anywhere. I'm just choosing who I'm going to root for harder, online and really in my life, who I have an attachment to. So the portal sucks. I hated being in there. Kansas State, they have my heart forever. I can't be jumping around every year. I just think at some point I need to just find a home, and that's kind of like who I am. I find myself loyal. I was unloyal for this time, and I absolutely hated it. So Kansas State, you are my home.
Culture question to follow up, and this is very important to be a Kansas State fan. What are your thoughts on the current K-State administration?
We have some working to do, but who do I trust? Gene Taylor's the best athletic director, not only in the Big 12, but maybe in the entire country. I think Gene Taylor is just why are you upset about that?
Remember the Jerome Tang thing, basketball player? And they remember?
No, I'm going to defend Gene Taylor until the death of me. He made an amazing hire with Chris Kleiman. He made an amazing hire with Jerome Tang.
All right, but then he kicked off Jerome Tang's player behind Jerome Tang's back and took the reins away from Tang.
Gene Taylor did that? I thought that was the administration above him.
The president definitely helped, but Gene didn't do anything.
Gene Taylor is my guy. No matter what, this is a blimp in the radar. If he did have as much to say in this, which I really don't believe, because I think he's amazing, I trust Gene Taylor. And also he's kept Chris Kleiman throughout many, many, many coaching searches that he deserved to go to. Chris Kleiman was in the running for Alabama, and he stayed at Kansas State. Did he have a major shot of being at Alabama? Maybe not, but he was probably in the top 5 list for them because of what he has built and what he is capable. If you give him 5-star talent, do you know what he could be capable of as a developer? So that's where he stayed at Kansas State because of Gene Taylor and because of the Kansas State culture. I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that family very much. To the people of Kansas State, I am your stepbrother. Think of me as your stepbrother. I am coming into this family, even though I wasn't born into it. I am now in this family.
Naquan Tomlin probably doesn't like Gene Taylor as much as you do. Just wanted to put that.
Well, yeah, I don't think he should, but that whole situation is crazy. But Gene Taylor, you're my guy.
That's the newest Kansas State fan, Robbie Triano. BYU just misses out on the 6'2", 170 recruit. 6'2", 170 is pretty that's basketball wise.
That's pretty skinny. I could use some more muscle, but no, the height great. Obviously, I'm really good at basketball. I'm dunking soon.
Can dunk. Yep.
Soon. So yeah, it'll come in handy. 6'2", 170 is not bad. It could be better.
I'm going to enter the Big 12 men's lacrosse transfer portal and see what kind of traction I can get. Thanks for paving the way. Robbie, where can people find your actual commitment video that went out yesterday?
Yeah, you can find it on my YouTube channel. Hi, I'm Robbie. It's a lot of fun college football content that'll be coming out. And I have a new series coming out called Take or Fake, where I interview people and I ask people about things and I give them my takes and I let them know if they agree or not. So I'm very excited for that series coming out soon. And also, if you are in the city of Chicago or love Chicago sports or love Caleb Williams, I work for 670 The Score in Chicago, #1 rated sports station in the city. I'm a producer there, and it's a lot of fun, and I love it a whole lot. But Drake, you know what I do love? I love you, and I love this show. So thank you for having me.
I love you too. Robbie wets the bed sometimes, but it's not a bad thing. Don't make fun of him for it. We all have done it before, so just kind of leave that unspoken. Don't tell anybody.
Condition.
Right, like just a leaky faucet, so we'll call it. That's Robbie Triano. He's from 670 The Score in Chicago. I'm Drake Tola from America's #1 Big 12 podcast. This has been and always will be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.